Welcome back to Will at Work. I'm Kevin. On this series we look at my video game consoles and we try to determine if they work or not. I've been purchasing these for over 30 years and we've run through about 170 of them so far, and we've had about half a dozen that don't function, which is pretty good considering I did not purchase these new in most cases, and a lot of times I didn't know if they were going to be working. They were either purchased as is or they were on a thrift store shelf, depending on when I bought them. So today we're looking at the Ricochet Electronic Color TV Game Center. It is yet another Pong system. It does look like it is in color on the box, so that's telling us at least that it's a little more modern than the standard black and white ones we look at all the time. We've seen more than a few color ones on this series, but you know, it's always good to see one that's a little different than the one that just runs off the AY38500 with no color or color chip. Now it does contain the same 4 games that we see all the time, but they do have different names. We have tennis and hockey, and we have 3-wall racquetball and Ricochet. So Ricochet looks like what we would call practice on all the other systems. Sometimes it's called single-player handball. 3-wall racquetball is highlight, and then tennis is pong, and hockey is hockey, basically. So this one's in the box. I've never tried it out. Let's open it up and see what's inside. Could be the body of a wild animal or something in here. Okay, it looks like we've got 2 units. We got the 70s style wood grain. Fairly large, actually. And certainly not the largest Pong system, but considering these are like 2-player, this is a fairly big unit that you would have sitting on your lap, I suppose. Really more for a table. We have Pro Slam, Pro English, manual serve. At least that's good. Both units have a manual serve button. I have to tell you, I've been looking at these things a lot, and I think we've only seen, you know, out of like 40 Pong systems, I think we've only seen 1 or 2 that had a manual serve button on the detached controllers. Although this is a little weird, but there is one on both sides, so apparently you can. These are the largest detached controllers ever. We have power off and on, sound off and on, which is kind of nice. We have on this side we have speed for pro and normal. The English, which I guess it would be the angle. They just used to call that English. Pro and normal. Now it's interesting because, you know, you have pro normal there, and then here you have a button just to turn on pro English. In Pro Slam, which I'm not quite sure what that's about. Racket, Pro, and Normal, probably how big the paddles are. And color or not, I guess. It says color court, and the bottom says player. But then you have Ricochet, hockey, tennis, racquetball, and on both of these you have Pro Slam, Pro English. So maybe you can hit this or something, and it'll, you know, cause the ball to go faster. I mean, they might have created some interesting variations, which might be nice. It does not look like there is a manual in the box, which is not unheard of. We have a original old school switch box. Montreal, Canada. You can see that there. There are more than a few of these that came out of Canada, which is interesting too. I didn't get them from Canada, but somebody did at one point. And I'm going to take this off of there. And shipping from Canada, when you're buying things online, you might as well be buying it from Hong Kong. The shipping is still very expensive. So we'll keep that in the box, but we're not going to use that one. We'll use the one I already have set up. Oh, there is that a manual? Yeah, let's see. There's even a little screwdriver in here. Look at that. Well, that's very nice. I don't know if that came with it, or the guy who previously owned it left it in the box, but hey, I look at that every day. This looks like a manual. All right. We can find out what these buttons mean. Ricochet, microelectronic systems from Madison Heights, Michigan. Model number MT1A. Packing, battery compartment. AC power. TV channel switch. Connected to your television. Just imagine dads all across America sitting behind their TVs reading something like this, trying to figure out how to make it work. A lot of old TVs, like, they did have these antenna screws and things, of course, in order to, you know, connect it to your antenna. But a lot of antennas also were, like, pre-wired in. Like, they had these loop antennas and things, especially in portable TVs, where you might connect something like this. And a lot of times it would be like a question, you know, by taking the antenna, because it would be like on two steel things that would go up and then into a loop. If you take it off of there and you connect the switch box, then you're going to have this antenna connected to the switch box, and the switch box is all loose, so the antenna is going to fall over and stuff. Oh, the troubles and things that people had to deal with back then. Jumper cable. That's weird. Weird things. There you could tape the switch box to the back of the TV to keep it there, but that never worked because TVs got warm, and the glue they used on those things was terrible. That's why you always find them in the box and never on the back of a TV. All right, let's see here. Pro normal speed switch, pro normal English switch. Use the setting which matches your playing ability. In the normal position, the ball will deflect off the walls and rackets at a 20% angle. In the pro English position, if the ball hits the top or bottom 25% of the racket, it will react with a 40% angle of deflection. If you are using the normal position and want to put greater English on the ball as you hit it back to your opponent, press the Pro English button and the ball will deflect as noted above. Oh, so that's kind of interesting. They're just making it so you can always do that 40-degree when you hit the button. Kind of throw your opponent off, I guess. All right. In the pro position, the pro slam button will not function. The ball is already at pro speed. Yeah, so the pro slam button is just going to make the ball bounce off your racket a lot faster once you hit it. Now, who's not going to use that, though? I mean, like, who's not going to want, like, if you're playing against somebody, how do you not want to make it harder for them? You know, what are you going to make it go slow? It doesn't, I don't know. Okay, well, we have a date on here. 1976. 1976. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. We do have an adapter in the box, and so what I'm going to do is I will Nike. Does it say Mike? Or Nike? Microelectronic Systems Corporation. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to hook it all up, and then we will switch over to the video side, and you guys will get it in the normal feed, and we'll see if these work or not. And if they don't, we'll come right back here, and we'll talk about what might be wrong with them. Okay, here we go. Welcome back to Will at Work. We're looking at the Ricochet. Looks like we got color, which is great. We've got a green and a blue paddle controller. Looks like the controls themselves need some TLC. That flicker that you see is kind of typical of when these things, you know, these controls need cleaning, or maybe they need their capacitors changed out. It sort of depends, I guess, but either way, maybe with a little bit of use, Like, you know, moving it back and forth, it'll work itself out. I don't know. Looking like a little better there on that green one. You know, but it would have to be, you'd have to play with it for some amount of time. Blue one's a little bit worse. You know, just kind of wiggle it in its where it's not working so hot, and have to kind of behave a little bit. So not terrible. I think if you were to spend an hour with this, they'd probably start to work normal. I have a pretty clear signal here. It's not perfect, but it's better than some of them we've seen. Now the sound's currently off. I'm going to hit the manual serve button. Let's see if that works. Yep. I have the sound. Let's turn the sound on. Sounds like all the other ones. So that's, we're in racquetball. We have tennis. This is hockey. And then Ricochet. Now I would say, based on what I'm seeing here, this is probably, can't say for sure, but it's probably just the colorized version of the AY38500. There's like a helper chip you can add to provide color to that chip. Though we have seen other ones that look very similar, but they tend to have like goals that are sort of C-shaped, and I'm not seeing that here, so I'm pretty sure this is the AY3. I'm not opening it up to look. Maybe I'll see it in the notes when I put everything together on the site. So we have color court. I'm going to switch it to player and see what that does. Seems like it's just changing the background of the game. So it's like, maybe that would be like a light blue or something, and then that just turns it off to black. Do any of these other ones look like? I mean, it's so minor. Now, it was probably more pronounced when this was new, but it's very minor. It's even odd that they gave it a choice between if you wanted it on or not. Racket Pro, normal, or yeah, this is normal. So the larger paddle. Turn on auto serve. We have the English on normal. We can put it to normal. Speed is on normal. So overall, it's okay. It works. The adapters work. It does have really big. Jeez, when you move this one around, something's sliding around in there. I wonder if that's in the battery case. No, it's actually the speaker. Speaker's not mounted right or something, so it's sliding around in there. That's not good, but it's not going to hurt anything because I'm not going to keep it on long enough for it to really do anything. But it probably could use to be remounted on there. It's an interesting battery pack. Okay, well, thanks for watching. We're going to keep this one, the Ricochet, and we'll move on to something new tomorrow, see what we get. Thanks again. See you.